The procure to pay cycle starts with purchase request or purchase order. So when the planning department finishes its MRP run, the output is basically a purchase request or a purchase order which hits the procurement team's screen. Now, a purchase officer can convert the purchase request into a purchase order, or if there is a requirement to send out an RFQ, a request for quote, to multiple vendors and collect the quote, then SAP Business One also has that functionality built into SAP Business One. So you can convert a purchase request to an RFQ, or you can directly convert a purchase request into a purchase order. Now, as explained during quotation or sales order, even purchase module has approvals. So you can either have a workflow based approval or a value based approval. Once the purchase order is approved, the purchase orders can be released to the supplier and through a mail. It will go as a PDF, and you can have multiple layouts of the purchase order, and you can also have multiple terms and conditions. So the layouts will get printed in PDF and will get automatically mailed from SAP Business One to the supplier. Once the purchase order are received at the supplier end, the supplier basically sends you the raw material. The raw material gets received into an SAP Business One system through the GRPO functionality, which is nothing but goods receipt against purchase order. So the receipts can be either partial or full. If it's a partial receipt, then the purchase order is open. Until unless the full quantity is received, the purchase order will be always be shown as pending. Now, when the receipt is done, there might be some changes, like there might be a price change or a quantity change. So for any kind of changes with regards to the base document, which is purchase order, the entire cycle has to go for a reapproval. Let's say that you bought something at a higher price than what a PO was released for, then the purchase order will go for another approval. Or if the quantity received is more than what is mentioned in the purchase order, then it will go for an reapproval. So this is systems security to make sure that an approved document is honored. Well, in a metal fabrication industry, there is always a chance of receiving slightly higher in terms of raw material or lower. So SAP Business One has the capability of setting up a tolerance limit wherein you can say plus or minus 10% is allowable, and the system accepts the stock without going in for an reapproval. Metal fabrication companies which basically require traceability can record the batch number or heat number of the steel plates or steel sheets or steel pipes by making it mandatory in the item master. So the batch number or heat number is recorded in the system when the items are or the raw materials are brought in. And the same is maintained when it is issued to production, and finally when the finished goods is built and sent to the customer also. So there is 100% traceability maintained in SAP Business One. Once the material is successfully received in the warehouse, the material cannot be issued to production until unless it is inspected. So the next functionality is inspection. To be specific, incoming inspection. While creating the item master, we can clearly designate or indicate if an item is part of the inspection category or non-inspect category. All inspection category items will have parameters against which the inspection have to be done. Once inspected against those parameters, the items can be either accepted or rejected. So the accepted quantity goes to a production warehouse or what is called as an accepted stores, and the rejected quantity basically goes to a quarantine warehouse or a quality stores. Further to it, if there is a process where a non-material confirmation report has to be generated, or you want to segregate the rejected items as good and bad and further send only rejected items to the supplier, all those things can also be done in the inspection module. Once the inspection is done, the accounts payable invoice is created, which is the next feature, AP invoice. So the invoice is created for all the accepted items, and if there's a rejected item, for those items a credit note is created, and the respective GST documentation and the return delivery note is also created in the system. For the accepted item, the outgoing payment can be done through SAP Business One, and the payment details can be mailed directly from SAP Business One to the vendor. Thanks for taking your time to watch this video, and look forward to meeting you in one more video.